What if the delays in your life aren't mistakes, but precision? What if the things that didn't work out weren't losses, but protection? And what if the timing you've been fighting is actually shaping you into the person who can handle what's coming? At some point, everyone reaches a phase where life feels out of sync. You expected to be further ahead by now. You thought certain things would have happened already. The opportunity didn't come. The relationship didn't last. The plan you were certain about collapsed. And you're left asking the same questions. Why now? Why me? Why this? It's not just frustration, it's confusion. Because from your perspective, everything made sense. You did the work, you had the intention, you moved in the right direction, and still it didn't land. To understand this properly, you have to separate three ideas people constantly blur together: fate, destiny, and timing. Fate is rigid. It says everything is fixed, already written, unavoidable. Destiny is more flexible. It suggests there's a direction, a version of your life that's possible, but you can still grow into them. Then there's timing, the part that disrupts everything. Because something can be right for you and still not be right for you yet. That's the tension most people live in. They recognise opportunity, they feel alignment, but it doesn't materialise. And the instinct is to think something has gone wrong. Or worse, that something is wrong with them. But often, nothing has gone wrong. It's just not aligned yet. This is where frustration builds. You meet the right person, but one of you isn't ready. You have the right idea, but lack the execution. You're given a glimpse of the life you want, but you don't have the mindset or discipline to sustain it. So it slips, and it feels like loss, but it's not always loss. It's missed timing. Look at any successful person and rewind their life honestly. You won't see a straight line. You'll see delays, failures, wrong environments, moments where nothing made sense, and periods where progress felt invisible. But those weren't empty phases. They were construction phases. They were building resilience, emotional control, perspective, and discipline in ways that only time and pressure can create. Because if success had arrived earlier, it wouldn't have held. That's the uncomfortable truth. You don't get things when you want them. You get them when you're ready for them. And readiness isn't just about skill, it's about identity. It's about who you are when pressure hits, when things go wrong, when expectations rise, and when you finally have something real to lose. Now here's where the idea becomes dangerous. People hear divine timing and turn passive. They sit back and say, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. But that mindset quietly kills progress. Because timing isn't passive, it's responsive. It reacts to who you're becoming, not what you're wishing for. You still have to move, you still have to take action. You still have to evolve. Destiny might open the door, but you still have to be the person capable of walking through it. And more importantly, staying there. Otherwise, even if you get the opportunity, you won't be able to keep it. Take relationships. You meet someone and everything feels right. Connection, chemistry, alignment. There's a natural flow, something that feels different from what you've experienced before. But one of you isn't ready. Maybe there's emotional baggage, maybe there's uncertainty, maybe life circumstances don't allow it to fully develop. So it ends. And it feels like you've lost something that was meant for you. But what you've really lost is a version of it that wouldn't have worked. Because without growth, without emotional stability, without alignment in timing, the same relationship slowly turns into friction. It becomes miscommunication, frustration, distance. The potential was real, but the structure underneath it wasn't ready to support it. Now look at career. You want more money, more responsibility, more recognition. You feel capable of the next level, and maybe you are in certain areas. But if you step into that too early, Without the mindset, discipline, or self-awareness to sustain it, pressure exposes everything you haven't built yet. We've all seen it, people who rise quickly, then fall just as fast. Not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked foundation. So what feels like being held back is sometimes the only thing preventing a bigger collapse later. The delay isn't denial, it's preparation happening in real time. This is where life demands something that feels contradictory: control and surrender at the same time. You control your effort, your habits, your standards, your decisions, and how you respond to pressure, but you don't control timing. You don't control when things align, when opportunities appear, or when outcomes finally land. So the real mindset shift is this: move like everything depends on you, but understand that not everything is up to you. That balance is where progress becomes sustainable and where frustration stops turning into doubt. So bring this back to your own life. What feels delayed right now? What feels like it should have already happened? Most people sit in resistance, asking, why isn't this happening? Why am I behind? Why does this feel so difficult? But a better question is, what is the period preparing me for? Because that question forces awareness. It forces growth. It moves you out of passive frustration and into active development. It reframes delay into something purposeful instead of something unfair. Not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Not everything that doesn't happen is a failure. And not everything that feels late is actually late. Sometimes things fall apart because they're not meant to stay. Sometimes things don't arrive because you're not ready to receive them. And sometimes the timing you're questioning right now is the very thing protecting your future and shaping your capacity to handle it. So keep moving, keep building, keep evolving. Trust your effort, but don't rush the process. Stay focused on who you're becoming, not just what you're chasing. Because what's meant for you won't just come to you. It will meet you at the version of yourself you've worked, struggled, and grown into. And if you like this episode, don't forget to follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Strong Coffee Company, protein-packed coffee for energy and clarity. Use code VANCRUX1 for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com. And then there's More Labs, clinically proven hydration and recovery drinks. Use code VANCRUX1 for 25% off at morelabs.com. And finally, liquor gummies, electrolytes and vitamins for hangover prevention. Use code VANCRUX1 for 20% off at liquor.com. That's LIQURE.com.